sorcerer of the ages, the guardian of ancient secrets, and the voice of the old ways.
Do you think that the stones of Rome, with all their grandeur and might, could blind my sight? Do you believe that because I stand beneath foreign skies, far from the mist-covered hills of our sacred isle, that I am not attuned to the whispers of the wind, the songs of the earth, and the cries of the spirits?
Foolish! My eyes see beyond the limits of mortal men, beyond the walls of Rome, beyond the seas that separate us. Time and distance are mere trifles to me.
Let me show you just how far I can see, and you will understand the true extent of my power. Look around you and see the world as it truly is. But before we can talk of what is, we must first talk about what was. All things that are to occur have origins that birth them. Britain's fate has turned sharply over the past century. Constantine brought peace and knighthood to the land, but he was slain by the treachery of Vortigern. This led to Vortigern's rise and the Saxon threat, as the Saxons saw an opportunity to invade and conquer the land. Vortigern's tyranny sparked a rebellion, and Aurelius Ambrosius restored order, introducing feudalism and knightly warfare. Uthar's lust for all that was not his fractured the realm, leaving Britain in chaos and vulnerable to Saxon conquest. The Saxons have seen an opportunity to invade and conquer the land, and they have taken advantage of the situation. It is not just the Saxons who have their eyes on the fractured kingdom of Logres. There are many great warlords who would take advantage of this time of anarchy. Cerdic, the last living son of Vortigern Tyrannus, not of his first wife, but the Saxon Rowena. He is more Saxon invader than person of Britain, and for that the people of this land will reject him. He poses a great threat for Britain, should the Saxon warlords unite behind him. King Idres is as much an invader of Britain as the Saxons. He represents the worst in men, an opportunist who will claim at any cost. He is amongst those who would profess that might is right, and for that I would wish him a swift end, but for the growing concern that his son Prince Mark would be far worse. Nanteliod, the descendant of Vortigern the tyrant, and Vortimer the people's king? Of all the invaders of Logres, he is the most worthy. But most is not to say that he is right as a high king. The land will decide. It always does, for the land and the king are one. None should forget of Lot, a great North king from a line of great North kings. He is without fear, but for that of his deceitful wife Margals. With enough time, he will unite the North against Logres and settle a score that his people have been waiting generations to settle. But are those that still stand in place of a Logres king enough to hold the invaders at bay? It is uncertain. The Saxon invaders are powerful and numerous, and the Angles are also a threat. The land is vulnerable, and it needs a strong leader to defend it. If the land falls, the invaders will not stop until they have conquered all of Britain. Ulfius, the perfect duke, a dear friend to Uther. Despite his disdain for my presence, I can say that it was no fault of Ulfius's counsel that Uther let his nature consume him. I suspect he would run me through if he had the chance. Even so, he remains the barrier that Logres needs from the Saxons and Angles, who press their advance further west. Duke Corneas is one of the rudest and most stubborn of men I have ever met, and it is in these qualities that he defends Logres from the north so successfully. It was a blessing that he did not meet his end when Octa and Eosa sacked Lindsay. I will share a secret with you now. It is what I have seen. It is not in these warlords that the fate of Britain will be decided, but in the caliber of the next High King and the qualities of the knights who stand beside him. The knights of Britain must be strong and loyal, and the High King must be wise and just. If they should falter, so too will the land.
And we're live with the game. We are playing Open Pendragon, set in Anarchy, set in the Duchy of the Vale, or the former Duchy of the Vale. In our prologue, which was not recorded, the group of knights we have here participated in a battle fought for London, at which they were pincered by Saxons and fought their way in a retreat back to Silchester. You're just passing Staines, heading back to Silchester proper right now. The Duke is not stopping in Staines either. He'll be accompanying you. So you're essentially in a march. You all are within the group of mercenaries, so you're not, stationed beside the Duke, his sons, not necessarily anyone of import. It's just a lot of you right now. There are some household knights and vassal knights, obviously, within this group, which would explain why Theodric's here. All right, and we'll kind of pick up there. I wanna see more of these characters, since all we did is sort of do a little bit of high level rolling last time. So we'll kind of pick up as you're nearing Silchester as a group. Yeah, I'll hand it over to you all. Feel free to give physical descriptions of your characters and what they're doing, as well as any wounds they might have taken from last time. To throw it out there and put everyone on the spot.
I'm sure I could start. Sir Wayland seems to be on the larger side. He's fairly muscular, somewhat taller, brown hair, brown eyes, beard, but definitely his muscles are noticeable. He's quite strong. And I suppose he would stroll up to Theo and say, I do have to commend you on your sword skills. They were quite formidable.
Thank you. Theo's gonna brush some of his curly, light brown hair out of his face. If you'd like to train a bit more, I'd be glad to teach you a thing or two.
No. I do go on.
You're coming in a bit quiet.
Sorry. I feel that I did all right myself, but I wouldn't say no to extra training.
Never hurts to improve.
Just so. What about you? I hope you do well, better than just looking pretty on the battlefield, huh? As he kind of nudges Victor.
Sir Vadden's kind of leaned over in the saddle, just staring down, and his shimmering silvery locks are sort of covering his face. You can tell that he's seriously hurting from some kind of wound that he took on the battlefield, and he just sort of glances over at you and just looks away. He's just pretty beat up right now.
So you take a hard hit back there during the fighting. Are you alright?
I should be fine. And his voice comes out like almost a musical notes dancing along and just leaves a pleasant sound in your ears.
Maybe we'll zoom into Gladivere. What is Gladivere doing right now? We got his name slightly wrong. We'll fix that.
He is kind of this dark-haired, like kind of reasonably built. He's kind of nursing some wounds himself, kind of like holding his arm kind of stiffly. There's some very minor cuts across his face from something. He is riding along, not far from the rest of the group, mostly for the kind of trying to get himself settled as best he can in the saddle, but it's clear something is kind of bothering him as well, although nothing too severe. He'll go ahead and kind of kick his horse into a bit of a faster trot for a second, and you can tell he's, of course, formerly trained in riding a horse, but you can tell at the moment between whether it's just inexperience or the wounds, he's just a little unsteady right now. But otherwise, he's just kind of minding his business, trotting along.
That's good. What about is it Onin? Onin, that's right. I forgot how we were going to pronounce it. Onin.
Onin. So, ever since the fight, Onin's been pretty close to Vaden. Perhaps owing his life to Vaden for that breakout. Remaining quiet. Several bandages around one of his arms. A little over one of his shoulders. He got scraped up a little bit in the battle. Pretty quiet. Say a young man, muscular physique, a forgettable face, if maybe handsome if he cleaned up, but pretty dirty and rugged, especially recent events, and noticeably cute button nose and shortish brown hair.
Noted.
Onin is contentious listen and follow along and listen to what others trying to scrape up what some of his newfound compatriots have to say.
Yeah, you can tell the morale is pretty somber. Like, people are happy that the Duke and his family got out, and that they got out with, that each of you got out with your own lives. But it's a much quieter march back west than it was marching into London when you were ready for war. This defeat is not a good one for folks, especially given the Saxons' recent sort of push further west. Finally, after a little bit, the commander who's currently in charge of all of you folks, his name is Sir Druce, apparently. Fully random. Hold on, I figure out where this guy's from. Oh, of course he is. Okay, that makes sense. So he'll speak up. Let's say, all right, men. Everyone's to look after their wounds once we make it to Silchester. Those who are suffering greatly, you'll be triaged and looked after accordingly. Those who have minor wounds can find themselves within the bailey, washing up and cleaning their wounds. We need to clean up. We have orders to stay here in Silchester for the Duke's son's wedding. Let's do a quick.
Yes, sir.
Let's do a quick intrigue. Let's see if anyone knows anything about that wedding. Theodric, as you're actually from Silchester, I'll give you a +5 to this one.
And I don't know anything.
Like, and nope, sure don't.
We can all roll this then?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
So far, we're crushing it. Let's see.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
There we go.
And mine is coming.
You know, if I had a nickel for every time I fumbled in tree,
It's okay.
I'd have 2 nickels.
All right. Well, that's. You know, I've seen
Incredible.
I've seen worse. We had. I think it was last week. We had 3 fumbles back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
No.
looking at this, that'll be Varkinus.
Yes.
Indeed, and that is Gladivir. Yes.
Gladivir, yep.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So Gladivir, you're aware that the where do I have you guys currently seeing? I need to make sure you're on
Stains.
the map. Can you see when I ping here?
Yes.
Yes, yep.
Okay. Just want to make sure you're on the right version.
Where was it? Oh, yep, I can see.
Okay. So the ducal feats of Silchester, his eldest son Ufo has been arranged to wed the Earl's daughter in Salisbury, creating kind of a definitely solidifying a power alliance between 2 of the more war-like or war-prepared counties that remain in Anarchy. So Salisbury was, its Earl Roderick, who's now deceased, and its boy Earl Robert. They house a considerable military force for being a single county, and they have recently warred with their northern border, the county of Gentian, and more or less occupied it. So something to do with a border dispute that led to something a lot worse, and now Salisbury is kind of in control of Gentian. So this wedding would create an alliance for Silchester and Salisbury. You also know that Silchester and Salisbury have a long-term beef going on here. So they have a rivalry that dates back to a former steward of Lev Kamagus, and the old Earl himself used to. They were vying for the same lady's hand at one point, and there was rumors of an ambush orchestrated by the steward of Lev Kamagus. So, yeah. Anyways, that's just you passed the intrigue, so I wanted to give you a little bit extra.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah. All right. So as you guys move in, you notice that Silchester is very much like one of those old Roman civitas that remains. It's a major trade center. What it lacks from most of the other civitas, most of the other civitas that remain are a port of some sort. You got Londinium, you've got Carlion. Those are the 2 big ones. And then to the north, you've got Eburicum, which is not far from the water. Silchester is very inland for where it's based. It's kind of very much like a hub to a lot of the major civitas. All the king's roads travel through it. And as you find your way inside, it is welcoming to see civilization again. You see you see a bustling town, and people are welcoming you back with cheers. You realize that they're cheering because they assume your victory.
Oh,
yeah.
I think Waylon will just kind of like pump his fist in the air, just very energetic, and wave to the crowd.
Oh man, he's the gold medal meme. He's like biting the gold medal and on the 3rd place in the podium.
That's exactly where my mind went.
Oh no.
I think it's just like his energy level. He's like, all right, let's do something to raise the spirits. People are cheering. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people don't respond like Waylon does. Waylon, you can do like what would that even be? Courtesy. Do a courtesy test. I'll throw you a +5.
That passes.
There you go. So just to back up a bit, Varkanos, make sure you tick intrigue for me for your pass there. And then, Wayland, you can tick courtesy here.
Oh, yep, okay.
Yeah. So, Wayland, it's well received, even though, like, it's kind of one of those things where very quickly the cheering crowd starts to realize that this is not a victory, and so the trumpets go away. You know, it's one of those old scenes in movies where like they're cheering and then everything deflates all at once. But nevertheless, you're all welcomed in. I want to know what your priorities are as each of you gets back to Silchester, Civitas. Theodric, what is your goal here? What are you aiming to do?
Honestly, I'm not sure he has a particular goal in mind.
Okay. What is he wounded?
He was not wounded.
Okay. All right. Do you want to just hang out? What would be his motive? Yeah.
He's probably just gonna hang out. Is Chaelwolf here though?
Yeah, he did fight in the war, in the battle. He was called into the Duke's personal guard, which is why you're separated.
Alright, then I guess I'd go hang out with him.
Okay. I guess technically you have not you've not seen to his success or failure in the battle. So that could be interesting. Why don't you roll me a 2d100 real quick? $15, $16. Just give me 1 sec here. Okay. We'll zoom in on that in a second. I'm gonna check in with Vadin next. Vadin, what is Vadin up to? What's your priority coming to Silchester?
Vadin's definitely heading to a medicus to get checked out because he got a ringing blow on his helmet. Mm-hmm. He's definitely got a splitting headache, and he's not exactly sure how hurt he is. So he wants to go get checked out, and then I think he wants to check out the market and look and see if he's able to get another sword.
Okay. Any particular reason on the other sword?
Just to have a backup, because he only has one.
Gotcha.
So he's just looking for a backup sword, not anything fancy, just a run-of-the-mill, utilitarian sword.
Understood. And you didn't take a major wound, did you?
I don't believe so.
Okay. We can assume your health will go well there. I'm going to put that on pause and just skip forward. Sir Gladivir, what are you aiming to do?
I think right now he has... the logic that I'm feeling for him is that he just had one of the worst experiences of combat for him thus far as a kind of a young lad. I think he kind of wants to stay near other people right now. So he will probably follow with wherever the bulk of the group ends up going, unless everyone splits off into different directions. But I think he'll kind of take solace in being near somebody else right now.
That's fair. We'll go to Wayland. What's Wayland's priority here?
Waylon Roland wants to get his wounds cleared up and then just sort of find a drink and chat boisterously to any who will listen.
Okay. And Onan.
Anand will he's got to go to the Bale. I think that's what Sir Drew's directed, right? For anybody who has light wounds to go clean up, get properly bandaged, right? So he's going to go there first, and then maybe go to like a tavern or a market, see if there's anything he's got to replenish from the couple days they've been out on the road. I don't know, and housekeeping stuff. Make sure his horse is seen to, and also taken care of. And then I think he might take a special interest, after the experience, like just taking special note of the town guards, like how prepared is Silchester from a
military?
Is the town actually defended, or is these fat old men, retired adventurer types that really Is the town well protected? Can they actually sleep well here? Maybe that's the better way to put it.
One sec.
Or if there's anything else suspicious besides just preparedness.
You can test. Give me a battle test for that inquiry there, real quick.
Oh, here we go. Hey, that's a success.
Okay, I'm gonna give you two things. You can tick battle there, and while you're going about things, you kind of are inspecting the walls. One of the senior guardsmen, who's his name is Brian, apparently, is really chatty, and he kind of decides to give you an unsolicited tour or maybe unwanted tour of the walls, and he kind of explains to you how Silchester is defended against, being the hub that it is. As a result, you can add a new skill to your sheet. The skill's Siege, if you don't have it on your sheet.
Okay.
So write Siege under your battle skills. It's at 0, but you can tick it, which means it's going to go up to 1 next year.
Copy.
All right, perfect. For the purposes of wounds and such, everyone can clear their wounds because we're going to advance forward pretty quick here before you ever have to deal with anything on them. We purposely avoided major wounds for you guys in the last battle since we were skating through it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to check something. Okay. All right. So, Theodric, one of the things that you recognize from Chillwolf is he's a bit mentally broken from that. He's not talking much. He's not being his usual self. Something must have happened there. This would be reflective of melancholic, basically.
Right. And I think I'm gonna go up to him and I'm gonna ask what happened and just sort of place a hand on his.
Okay. Do you want to be there for him, or are you trying to pull him out of melancholy?
He's absolutely being there for.
Okay. Just wanted to see if I needed to roll to see if he flips out on you or not. So,
nope.
Yeah, he's a bit morose, and where he normally would share anything with you, he doesn't. He's just he's kind of being quiet, and he's like, I don't want to talk about my failings right now. It's
And I think
it's noticeable.
that, yeah, I think he's just sort of gonna wrap an arm around him and just sort of be there, sort of like keep him comfortable, that sort of thing. Just sort of be like, and he's gonna say, if you ever want to open up about it, you know you can talk to me.
Yeah. And he just like doesn't. As we kind of shift the scene away from that, we move to I'm gonna propose Gladivir and Wayland over drinks and the in the drinking hole, as it were.
Probably.
Yeah. Can I get Gladivir? Can I get you to roll 2d100 for me?
Okay. Let's see.
I tend to ad-lib these a little bit with other things that come in.
Nice.
Right?
Okay, so 131.
Yeah, no, you're all good.
Okay.
So we'll start with we'll just set the scene before this kind of happens. With you're not alone in this place. It's full of
a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the ruffian mercenary and poor knights, especially have all come here. The ones without obligation to go back to a particular manor or to see a family. They all end up at their family, which is the local place to drink, effectively. The morale's a bit higher here, mostly due to the liquid
Alcohol.
they're consuming. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll pick up with that. Give you guys a couple minutes there.
You should have seen it. You should have seen the way his sword was in the light and everything. Gods, it was brilliant. And then the way the other one had very skilled horsemanship. It was brilliant. It was.
I think Gladivir is probably at this point definitely attached to Sir Wayland, just like the kind of I don't know if it's just the charisma or the fact that they are just optimistic about what just happened. Kind of makes him feel a little bit better, and he's kind of nodding along, listening to this, and says, "And how did you do? Did you do well as well? You've been describing other feats all night, but."
I did all right. My horse performed well in getting out, but everyone performed. I'll say it better than I did, which is fine. But what matters is that we all survived the night.
We certainly did, but did you happen? He kind of looks at you with you can sense there's a level of almost naivety. He says to you, "Did you fight anyone one-on-one? Did you have any glory yourself?"
It's mattering, but honestly, I don't think many of us got one-on-one fights. There were massive amounts. You remember, hordes and hordes, more than we were expecting.
Of course, I know. It's just chaos. It feels like
that we made it out.
It is. I always heard tales that there are some that manage to find a chance to fight glorious combat one-on-one, but it didn't seem like it'd be very easy to do so in all that chaos.
How did you do? You did well? Yes?
You can see he kind of looks a little bit ashamed, kind of glances away for a moment before looking back to you and says, I did okay. Like you said, we're all alive. We survived.
I think at that, Waylon kind of claps him on the shoulder, probably a little bit harder than intended, partially because they're very strong and muscular, but also the drink a little bit.
Yeah.
And just enthusiasm, just like, aye, yeah, That you did. Spirits blessed us this day.
I'm gonna quickly check in. Vadin, what was your highlight out of the battle from what you remember me telling you last time? Did Vadin have any notable heroic deeds or really bad things?
So he rode in, swung at a guy, missed, who clopped him on the head, and he kind of spun around, made him stay in his saddle, and then got a crit on his horsemanship and was able to trample 2 Saxons and bust a hole in the enemy lines that let sorry, 1 second.
Onan?
Let Onan and other people escape. He like knocked a hole in the trap.
Understood. Okay. What about Gladivir? What was your highlight?
It was failure after failure, no fumbles, but yeah. So it was, I think, mostly unnotable. It was probably just important that he was able to survive. I don't know if he really contributed much.
Yeah. What about Wayland?
Wayland was successful with his sword attacks, but not so much with his fumbles, with his battle or horseman, just a bare failure on his horsemanship. Okay,
sounds good. And we might as well close the gamut and do Onin. What was yours? What was your memory? Yeah.
I think I failed battle. I failed sword or spear, and I did succeed on horse. So I think that his encounter in the battle was joining the charge that probably Vaden is in. He goes in, his sword clanks off of a couple shields. He takes a couple of slashes from some spears, starts to get enclosed, but his horsemanship carries him out, and he's able to follow Vaden and maybe a couple of other people out of this breakthrough and make it to safety. That's kind of his claim to fame.
Understood. 1 sec here. Trying to remember if Silchester's Midlands or not. I think it's South Counties. Okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay. There a knight comes in, and he seems to be looking around for somebody, and then he sees Gladivir talking to Wayland, and he approaches and he stands tall. He looks like he's in his like late 30s. He's starting to go a little salt and pepper. Definitely not super healthy and fit. And he just stands almost loomingly over the two of you as he approaches.
Do I get the sense he's somewhat of import, like whether by his armor or his stance?
Yeah, he definitely would be like the equivalent of a higher. So import, no. You get the impression that he's wealthy though. And that can bring a certain amount of import with it. He's got nice armor. His shield is beautifully adorned with his coat of arms, which is... hold on. There we go. Which is a quartered shield with like a lozenge shape on it. He just stands there. It's hard to tell, like, is he here to talk to you guys or here to try to fight somebody? Like, he just has that demeanor to him where it's hard to say. Yeah.
Evening, sir.
He sort of squints at Wayland, and then the squint almost suggests that he's not very keen-eyed. He seems to be studying your coat of arms, and then he turns to Gladivir does the same. He says, I'm looking for the... He thinks about how to say it. He says, a knight with silver hair. Young one.
Ooh.
Give me a recognize roll, both of you, actually. Maybe you recognize this guy from the field. Or heraldry. Either works.
Let's see. Oh,
one or the
both
other, though. It's usually Pendragon. It's like, well, very, very familiar, but you just can't quite place it.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Waylon, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were in the group alongside, like, where Vadim cut the exit, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. This guy was amongst those that got freed from a bad situation when Vadim managed to cut his way through an exit. So he would have also gotten out of there because of Vadin's heroic deed there.
Aye, the good Sir Vadin that parted the way.
Like Moses, he says.
And there's just a moment of just nodding and kind
totally
of
know who that
uncertain.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so.
Oh, Sir
Yes.
Moses. Yes, I met him once. Yeah. Fine night.
Right. I suppose.
Oh my god.
Not sure where he went. Possibly to clean up, as the good Bailey instructed. Gladivir, any awareness? Oh.
Yeah. With that, he nods. He seems content with that. We'll kind of pan over to Vadin here because I do want to get to the feast, and I realize we're running out of the times. So Vadin, as you're going about your stuff in town, you turn to see this same man, who you can also do like a recognize or a heraldry roll to see if you recall him on the battlefield. Heraldry would be more like you don't recall his actual features, but you recognize the heraldry as being someone who fought alongside you. Yeah, sure don't.
Really don't.
Yeah. It looks like he's just trying to. Oh, by the way, Waylon, you can tick recognize because you did succeed at that. Victor. So as what was his name? Gwendolyn. Yeah. Sir Gwendolyn approaches Vadin. It's hard to tell whether he's here to fight you or something else. Like he just looks like he's got a resting bitch face, and he's just a gruff-looking guy. His posture always looks a bit defensive as he kind of walks right up to you, probably a little too close to you. He's squinting at you as he does so.
Vadin's going to turn his very black eyes and look at the knight that's approached him. May I help you, Lord?
He seems to be looking at your heraldry now with a squint, and he says, "Ah, yes, you're the one they call Sir Vadin. Am I correct?"
Yes, Lord, I'm Sir Vadin. May I ask who you are?
Indeed. Once Bob remembers who he is. I am Sir Gwendolyn of Salisbury. Are you... He considers what he's to say next, and he says, "Are you landed, or a household knight, perhaps?"
I'm the third son of a vassal knight from Pendragon, though I don't know what's happened to my family since that area became war-torn. I'm here to seek my fortune in service to the Duke of Silchester.
Yeah. Very well.
I'm currently serving as a mercenary knight. Yeah.
Well, it seems I owe you a deed for freeing me from a very dangerous situation on the battlefield. I hope that my finest Roundsea will do. So just an aside for you, there are different types of horses. Roundsea would be like a fine hunting horse and not something that, the thing about mercenary knights is without a place to stable a bunch of horses, it becomes rather impractical to have a bunch. And it's also very costly. So a lot of mercenary knights have to choose, like, do I get a charger, which makes me capable of properly, charging on a battlefield and participating as a knight would, because those are the big war horses, or do I end up with more of a riding horse because it's more versatile, but a little less battle ready, so things can go sideways, and it also kind of keeps you out of things like where where you can never participate in the first charge if you're on a dinky little Roundsea, right? Nevertheless, an offer for a fine Roundsea, that'd probably be like 15 Librum is what that would be worth. Like, that would be a considerable gift.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A starting manor.
Thank you, my lord.
As small as like 10 Librum or 5 Librum for like, a manor. Or sorry, I shouldn't. A manor is worth more than that, but their annual upkeep's around 10, right? So it's a considerable effort, considerable gift. He smiles.
Oh, thank you, my lord. I very much appreciate it. Yeah.
It's the least I can do. Well fought, sir. With that, I'm gonna give you a tick on Valor. If you don't have one on Valor yet. Valorous.
Okay.
Yep. I'm also gonna get you. I want to know how Vadin responds to receiving this gift. If it goes to his head a little bit or not. And so I'd like you to make either a modest or a proud test. If neither is famous, you get to choose which one you test first. Whichever one you test, if you succeed at it, then that's the one you're ticking. So choose wisely. You can choose either. All right, there you go. Tick modest as well. It's a gift. You're grateful for it, and it's but it's not something that makes you special or important in your eyes. Right? Okay. With that,
very modest.
Just to go back to Onin's inquiry from earlier, you know that this scenario here, it's Silchester has a lot of defenses. So I forgot to give you your update on the battle test. Aside from the walls itself, like Silchester would have, like, Staines would have to fall, other castles would probably have to fall before anyone were to march in from Silchester, at least from the Saxon side. What might be a little more worrisome is the ever-increasing expansion from the west now. So King Ninteliad of Escavalon has, started to pursue his own invasion into Logris. And though he's, like, people would welcome him more than they would welcome Saxons, he's still very much an external entity,
foreigner.
An invader. Yep. All right. With that, gang, we're going to go ahead and move towards the feast. Allow me to set that up here. So we take a couple minute aside and we'll play through that. So the cool thing about this game is it comes with feast rules and a feast card deck. And so, feast can be pretty fun.
Oh boy.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's the best mini game in the game.
All right, give me a sec. We'll set the mood with some song here, and then allow me to get things set up. I'm also going to grant you all 20 glory. You will have participated in the celebrations, not in the direct like ceremony, but in the celebrations of the Duke's son and his marriage to Lady Jenna of Salisbury. Lady Jenna? One of those two. Just give me a sec as I quickly adjust the feast screen for everybody. Eventually we'll populate that proper, but for the sake of today, we shall not worry about it. We're going to make this one a 2-round feast since it was a costly defeat. The Duke is skimping a little bit.
Understandable.
Only winners get good feasts.
Feast are for closers.
Alright, give me a sec here.
These are fun.
Just gonna
Not a lot.
set y'all up with some quick tokens because we do that, but we can do that kind of one at a time. Okay. We'll make this a little easier. So I will introduce the folks as they're here, and then you know, these will be the people you can interact with if you wish. So this, let's see. I'm going to bring you over to the feast screen. So this is Duke Ulfius right here. This is his eldest son, Duke Ufo. Or sorry, Sir Ufu.
No, very cool.
And then this is Lady Jenna. Okay. There will, of course, be other people there. I'm not sure I can... Oh, I might as well. I can do this one, I think. We'll put Chill Wolf here. So this is...
I was gonna say, is he really the size of a table? Because, like, I knew he was a big boy, but damn.
Yeah, not so much. Okay, so for that, now what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna create your tokens kind of on the fly as we do it. What I'm gonna get you all to do is you're gonna test your app, your appeal / appearance. It used to be appearance, now it's appeal. So we'll start with you all doing that.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Killing it.
Let's
Oh,
Oh boy.
Okay. Where are we missing one roll, right?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, all good. Okay, so
Damn.
we got 2 passes, 1 fumble, and 2 fat. Oh, critical! I didn't even see that.
yeah.
Ooh.
Theodric, you get invited above the salt.
All right. Is Trailwolf also above the salt?
No, he is not.
Okay.
He would be near the salt. So you must have done something right.
Did something right.
You do have a token, so I'm just gonna quickly get that on here.
There's that critical sword movements and stuff during the battle.
It really was. I know my way. I know a thing or two about using a sword.
Yeah, I think Duke UFO invites you above assault because of that. So, the crit means 13 glory to you as well. Whenever you're critical in this game, you get glory for criticaling. So it's like that in and of itself means that people know about it. It's like that's a noteworthy moment for you. So you getting called up to, you go to sit next to Chill Wolf and oh, interesting. I like the idea. I'm gonna test something for him. He might be a little jealous. A little, you know, given how crappy he had it. I'm gonna do a roll. Yeah, he's yeah, because he is probably slightly proud. You know what? He's okay with it. He's not like extremely whatever, but he's just like, oh look, my
it's like mild annoyance.
Yeah, well, you're also his household knight on top of everything else, right? So that's it's like, oh, my household knight gets called up, and that only reminds me more of my shame from getting overwhelmed in the battle. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, Victor has to roll again.
He will. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, starting with the passes. So, we will start actually with you, Theo. Do you want to stay above assault? You can relinquish your spot there. You just have to succeed at a temperate roll to do so. If you want to forfeit your spot, I think it's temperate, or maybe it's modest. It might be modest actually. Let me just look it up. Do you want to stay up there? The only problem with being above assault is you do not get to pull cards, but it does grant you more geniality, thus more glory.
I mean, glory is nice, but it does not compare to card.
Okay, so card it is.
So modest proud.
Let me just check. Ceding your position. Characters may voluntarily cede their position to a lower area if they prefer to sit with their comrades or don't want to sit at the high table. To do so requires a modest roll. On a success, check the trait and gain 10 glory, or 20 with a critical. Then move your seat to a lower spot. Failure means that the intended move cannot be arranged. A fumble roll indicates that the attempt at humility comes across as disingenuous or cynical, costing you 1 point of honor. And you're not proud 16, right? Okay, that answers that question.
Literally 50-50.
Yeah, okay. So you get to tick modest, and also add 10 glory, which puts you near the salt.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay, so you may pull cards. Let me just shuffle the deck here first. This is a feast right in Silchester, Civitas. Okay, when you're ready, good sir, you may pull your cards.
All right, I will draw a card.
Oh yeah, card.
Like drag.
Drag, please, because that'll pull it out into the screen. Should be a drag and drop. Perfect. Oh, King of the Bean. I love this one.
King of the Bean. Let's go.
Yes.
Okay, you're selected to be the lead character from Feast Disguise. I like the idea of you being Cupid's cherub right now. So, if you're cool with that.
That's fine with
me. Yeah. So you're looking to incite romance and flirting amongst those that are already doing so. So, kind of a meddler, an outside meddler.
Little.
Yeah. You're equivalent of the walking mistletoe at the Christmas party.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm the mistletoe at the office Christmas party.
Yeah. Okay, so you gain 10 glory and 3 geniality.
Yep.
Wow.
So I believe I'd be at 4
5
now with the +1 from being near the salt.
Yeah. You betcha. That's a big round. Yeah, so people applause. So you're like, you know what? I'm too modest for this. And like, well, fine, then you can be Cupid. And so then everyone's still applauding at you. You're like, you know, you're gonna go out and buy a bunch of lotto scratch offs after this just to check your.
Absolutely, and then I'm just gonna lose all my money.
Okay. I'm looking to see who succeeded here next. We have. Hold on to this card, by the way, the King of the Bean. We have Onin and Gladivir both succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
So you will both also be near the salt. We'll start with who said they were AFK? Vannon. Okay, that's not bad then. Let's do it this way. Onin, what's your glory?
My glory is a 20 this game, 1009 overall total.
And Gladivir, what's yours?
1108.
Okay, Gladivir, you are up next, sir.
Cool.
You are near the salt, so I'm just putting together your token here real quick, which won't take me long. Okay. Okay, so your options at the feast when you're near the salt, you can do the following sort of actions. You can gossip, which is like intrigue. You can either gossip like actively, like spread a rumor, or you can just listen to rumors. You can flirt, so you can find a lady at the court to flirt with, or a servant at the court to flirt with. You can dance if you want to.
Yeah. Very cool.
You can game. So like usually below the salt, like there's a bunch of people gaming, but you can kind of wander down there and play various games. You know, things like backgammon, stuff like that are all there. There's a list of them. Using the gaming score, you can pull cards, which is, you know, when you have one card, it sometimes it can lead to some. It's like a mystery bag, can lead to bad or good things happening. Finally, you can be temperate or indulgent. So temperate would be like looking after the knights and ladies that are seated near you, making sure that everyone's fed accordingly. Oh, forgot about the feast. There we go.
Yeah.
First course of Allen cheese quiche, lamprey and hot sauce, and roasted pigeon is the feast today. So and then indulgent would be partaking in the celebration of Christmas feast.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of options.
Yeah, a lot of options. I think. And how many rounds are there of this?
Just 2 this time.
Okay, so it's. I think I don't know what to do. There's a lot of options. I might just start off. I think I'm going to be temperate. I just want to keep an eye on everyone, make sure everyone's doing okay.
Okay. Go ahead and make a temperate test.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, you're famous in it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're famous in something, like if you were famous indulgent, you'd have to drink as your first action in the feast. If you're famously lustful, you'd have to flirt
immediately. Oh,
immediately.
incredible.
Yeah. Okay, so that gets you 2 geniality. So 1 for being near the salt, and then 1 for the successful act. You get to tick temperate, and like the people around you are generally very thankful. What is geniality? It converts to glory at the end of the game times 10. So 2 geniality would be 20 glory at the end of the feast. We don't calculate till the end because sometimes you lose geniality.
Oh, fair. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
You know, if your body slams someone through a table, or you make a terrible speech, or you punch someone, there's lots of ways to lose geniality. Yeah. Sometimes the cards
just have the overwhelming urge to punch someone.
It's true. That brings us to, so we did Gladivir. That would bring us to Onin.
On in. So I draw.
So you have a number of choices. You can, if you have something specific you want to do, you can just ask me, but you can just simply drink or be merry or whatever. But cards are pretty fun. So I always recommend someone try some cards at some point. Because
does it, well, so I think, so he passed, so he's near the salt, but not beyond the salt, right?
Yeah, you are near, so I'm just putting your token down here. Yeah.
Okay. And so for better or worse, he leans towards the humble, temperate side of things, or what do we call that? The temperate side of things. So, and modest. So he might turn down a seat and head back more towards the back end of the hall. So that might be his.
You actually can't from where you're at because you're just near the salt, so you're not in
like
a special.
So I'm in the back. I'm in the back. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're okay. So everything in the feast is positioned by where it is, where the salt is. So if you, by being near the salt, you're kind of like in the center. You're not with the low knights. You're not with the high knights, kind of thing.
And I can't go to the low knights.
You can wander down there and mingle. Yep. You just as far as like where you're seated near the salt. But you can go down.
Okay.
Spend time.
Okay. Well, if I'm okay, then I'll probably mingle with. I probably would look for Sir Vaden, who's might not be here, maybe. And then
I'm running late.
And otherwise, I mean, being on the road for well, I'm probably gonna. I can't turn down food. We've been on the road for a couple days, so it's not. He's gonna eat too, so.
Mm-hmm.
But he's probably gonna look for Sir Vaden and try and mingle with him, and otherwise, make sure he's not. He's probably eating less than the people around him, drinking less than the people around him, that sort of thing.
Right. That is fair. Hold on 1 second. So, why don't we start you with a temperate roll real quick for your action?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can tick temperate, and that gets you 2 geniality. What we tend to do with player-to-player interactions is we usually just kind of say at the end of the round, we give the players a moment. So we'll give you that interaction at the end of the two of you mingle. So it's like you're going around kind of looking after some of the mercenary knights that aren't getting the prime pickings of food. You're kind of bringing them food and drink. So since you're the person with the VIP tag, allows you to go in and get the beer at the beer garden that no one else can get to. So you're
that sounds like what I'm going for. So that's about right.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. And then we'll say that you kind of run into Vaden at the end of the round here. But
where do I have a special tally? Is there a special area for geniality, or do I just track that somewhere?
We track it on the screen here with these coins in front of you.
Oh, okay. So you're doing it
until the end, and then we convert it at the very end of the feast. We convert it to glory. So.
Oh, I was gonna say I like to make a custom skill for it.
Yeah, you're welcome to do that.
Okay.
As well.
Okay.
That's not a bad idea. Let's see. So we have one person who failed. Wayland. Wayland, you're next. Yeah. And then Vaden will be last because we're not sure where Vaden's sitting at. We'll find out very shortly. So.
Alright. I am going to pull a card.
Okay. And I'm making your token.
Who are you?
Mm.
Oh, goodness.
Alright.
An unknown lady asks you to entertain her during the feast.
Oh, interesting.
Cool.
Do-do-do.
I assume that the first one is a crit, and then the second is a success. Okay, that's a typo. Unless
Yeah.
both success.
No, it would be crit. That's probably.
Okay.
I've never seen the typo there on that card. That's weird. I swear I've seen the card with critical. I wonder if there's just one, because there's multiple cards for the same thing. I wonder if one of them. Yeah.
Or maybe this is super special.
All right. Well, when you're ready, you may attempt your recognize. There's no failure condition, just a fumble.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, we'll assume that you know that you can tell like from your interactions with her that she's clearly someone of import, but you don't recognize exactly who she is. You're like, oh yeah, what's up?
Oh no, I was just rereading, and maybe I was thinking like the first one is success on recognize, and then the second one might be success on entry, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
But I'm okay if not.
No, you're right. You're right. So go ahead and that makes sense. I still think they shouldn't have had two success.
It's strange the way it's written, but reading it further.
Okay. All right. Oh.
It's a failure, but not a fumble.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like you aren't as subtle as you want to be. Perhaps you're a little bit louder than just from the ambient sound in the place, and it's she gets nervous and she'll sort of like exit out of the conversation a little abruptly, but not out of annoyance. It's just more like out of like wanting to avoid having our cover blown.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine it's something sort of like they're a little bit too winky about it. It's like, oh, right, yeah, don't worry, I won't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Nudge.
It's like, you know who says that? People who tell people. Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So you don't get the 10 glory, you do get the 1 geniality though for the card. Yeah. Okay. That brings us to it's funny that Vadin is like, here's this like guy that did this heroic moment on the battlefield. It's like could be on the floor. Let's find out, good sir, where you are. Roll your app one more time to determine where you're seated after a fumble. Oh God.
Wait. No.
Chat, is this real?
Holy moly.
Oh my God.
Double.
Yeah. Okay. So I need you to test modest or proud, your choice. Okay. I need you to test modest then.
Oh yeah.
Okay. When you get here and the place is like fairly full, you see someone about the seat arrangements and they're like, oh, your name, and you say Sir Vadin, and they're like, oh, we don't have any reference to a Sir Vadin here. Clearly you're a knight. And then they're like, well, saying that there's no seat arranged for you, perhaps you wouldn't mind being seated amongst the squires. And you kind of look over and you see squires all sitting on the floor, with their food. And there's like a couple of dogs running around. The hounds are down there as well, trying to get table scraps. And your modest roll suggests that you're at least able to kind of like realize that this is a mistake and not something, a slight against you personally. How do you want to add any flavor? Yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like Sir Vadden, he was just recently made a knight, and so he's just kind of happy to go back and sit with all of the squires that he's used to hanging out with prior to being knighted. So he's not really super offended about it. He's just like, hey, buds, what's up?
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
He gets to be the biggest fish in the smallest pond.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, that brings us to you can act here from on. I don't think there's a limit to on the floor. I think you can still. Hold on, let me just check. Yeah, so the biggest thing about being on the floor is it brings a -1 geniality per round to be on the floor. So you're kind of fighting an uphill battle, but you can do all those other actions that other people did. You can choose to be like temperate, look after people. You can indulge and just have a good time. You can attempt to play a game with other folks. And games are also good ways to collect some money, some Librum if you want. Always a decent thing as a mercenary knight. You can choose to pull a card. Always a fun time.
Could he steal a seat from somebody?
No.
That's frowned upon.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're gonna listen to some. No, we're gonna pull a card. Let's see what we get.
Okay. Let's see it. So just drag and drop right out onto the thing.
Oh, this looks incredible.
What do we got here? Let's see.
Oh god.
Yes.
Oh man.
Where's the? Oh, there we go.
So that's
Mead.
how you're coping.
Large keg of meat is brought in. Open. Temperate wins. Nope. Well, you got to roll indulgent still. Okay, that's good. Now you get to keep re-rolling till one of them succeeds.
This is incredible.
Okay, there you go. Temperate wins. You do have to test versus indulgent, so indulgent can't win higher. Perfect.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice.
wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
That's
so-
3 fumbles
Fumble
this
counter.
round.
Yeah.
Just killing it.
I'm gonna refresh my browser.
Change out your die.
That's a fumble when you want it to fumble, though, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah.
you managed to, despite being where you are, this interaction and like the compliment to the host, we'll say it's like, well, you know what? We'll say it's Sir UFO kind of recognizes you and comes down to interact with you, and he's like, it seems they must have messed up the arrangements. My apologies. And then that's where the mead comes out, and the two of you share a toast real quick. You compliment him on the fine choice, and you end up with a +1 geniality, despite being on the floor. We're going to quickly. Who is going to talk here? We had a scene where 2 people were specifically going to talk. Who was that?
I think
Here and Adam?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we can have that happen like right now as we move into round 2. I'm just gonna step away for a second. I just gotta start my car here. 1 sec.
the Gladivir was also going to talk to Vadden.
No, I might have mixed up who it was.
Well, I don't know. Maybe everybody wants to talk to Vadden. Right?
No. I think,
No.
I'm quite happy with my chair.
I was about to say,
the hero of the defeat sitting on the floor.
Yeah. Noticing Ven's distinct silver hair all the way in the back. After there's probably grabs some stuff. I don't know if we're drinking the better ale or like wine up here, but he probably brings some of that out there. He goes down and he finds Vaden, who he probably hasn't talked to since the battle. He's been close to him, but he probably hasn't said anything. And especially since you're on Battle Garden, wasn't it a night battle too? Or wasn't it dark outside? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was, you're correct on that.
So he'll probably give a formal recognition, and he'll introduce himself as Sir Onan, and I owe you my life. A lot of good men. You saved a lot of good men from. There'd be a couple more bodies left out there on the field. It's a shame it's a shame you're out here down here with the squires. They must really mess this one up. And if there's any squires that he said, this is to kind of point at that and say, this is a real knight. He saved a lot of good men yesterday. So you listen to him if he has anything to say, and we'll probably give him a toast and thank him again for his valor on the field, and point out he doesn't have a whole lot of coin to give. He doesn't have anything to give, and they make it very clear he has his thanks, and give them some of the better food, I guess, and then bump off to the end of the round.
Awesome. Anything from Vaden?
Yes, Sir Vaden's going to say thank you, Sir Knight, and he's going to kind of give like a little pep talk to the other squires about being knightly and how you can earn your spurs on the field, and he's going to then pour out, I guess, some of the fine ale or mead, excuse me, that Sir Ufo brought down to him, even like pouring out of his own cup to give them a taste of the good stuff.
Okay, and sorry folks, I just have to go BRB for a minute. I'll be right back.
It's all the correcting Shale Wolf.
We're back. Okay, so I'm on a fairly tight timeline for today, folks. So we'll try to fly through round 2 here. Apologies.
Absolutely.
Next time we play, everything's set up, so it won't take long to. Okay, so we are back to Theodric.
Since I'm king of the bean and trying to be like the fucking Cupid guy,
Yeah,
I was gonna flirt with Trail Wolf. Can I do?
I think technically you can, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it will be
Alternatively,
very down.
no, I'm not worried about that. It's more like, you know, one of the keys is for you to kind of go around and trigger romances for other people as Cupid, but it does. There's no limit to this.
I think you have to draw a card.
Oh, yep.
And
For the
kind of
rest of the
the
feast, you
activity.
must draw cards. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because my goal was gonna be lead by example.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I think I dragged it onto someone's nameplate. I think I dragged it onto yours, Rebecca, by mistake. I don't know why it did that, but it did.
Don't see it. I don't
Yeah.
know where it would have
Yeah, I
That
don't
is
think
so weird.
it just drag a new one out.
Okay.
The hell's with you getting all these rare cards? Okay.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, so now it's the Jester versus Cupid going on. There's a rap battle here. So the Jester decides to single you out for lampooning.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh. What do you do? What do you think he does? What do you think gets under Theodric's skin?
I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's like noticed the bad mood on Jail Wolf so sort of indirectly, but it's like, look, bud, not cool.
Well,
Don't
he's
kick people when they're.
he's ribbing. Okay, yeah. So maybe
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Maybe you see him actually. He
like
kind
ribbing at Jail.
he does like a ribbing at you, and you're like, that's okay. And then he ribs at Chael Wolf, and you're like, you get super defensive
You've gone
about
too
it.
far, but...
You say something like, you have to make a bit of a scene with it, right? Like maybe you raise your voice or something out of character, since you're supposed to be
something
Cupid.
like that.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be in that character
like,
too.
Don't kick people while they're down. Like, I'd hope you'd know better than that.
Yeah, and it's like everyone around he's kind of like he's a jester. Like that's what they do. Like don't.
Oh, I understand
don't get
ribbing people. That's not what I have a problem with.
Yeah. But nevertheless, it doesn't sell super well with your audience.
It really
so.
doesn't. So I'll stay at 4 geniality for the feat.
No, it just says -1. Oh, I guess yeah. So you would get a 5th for the feast. Yep. So 5 geniality
Well,
total.
I was thinking that would actually the -1 would negate the one I'd get from being near the salt.
Oh, right. You were near the salt. I forgot that you moved down.
Yeah,
That's
I'm not
why.
above the salt.
Yeah, that's right.
Not that I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So you indeed. What about King of the Bean though? Did that come with anything? I think it did, right?
That came with 3 geniality, which I'd already included.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a per round one. Okay.
It's not per round.
That brings us to Gladivir.
I think I'm really tempted to try, and I'm gonna draw a card if I can.
You have to. Right?
I must.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't have to.
It was
Only
just
Theodric.
Theo.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Feel free to grab a card.
Okay, I just drag it out.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, this should be good. As a former bouncer, I ran into this all the time. And so, so a drunk effectively bumps into you, doesn't necessarily apologize immediately. We'll see. That you do that kind of. It's sort of like when two, it's like when two bears like encounter each other. It's like that kind of thing. Yeah. So we'll do a forgiving versus vengeful test. Yeah.
All right, forgiving first, I assume.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Failure.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mm.
And then vengeful.
Okay, keep going. Keep rolling.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
And then vengeful one more time to.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay.
Look at that. That's like the second time in a roll off we had a fumble on the bad one after the fact. So it's one of those things where we'll name this person. Oh God, Feral. We'll call him Feral. Yeah.
Literally Feral. Okay.
Yeah. So Feral bumps into you. There's this look, and it looks like to everyone else, it's kind of like, we might have a duel on our hands. And then you both smile at each other, and he passes down the arm and says, "I'm really sorry, friend."
Oh, no worries. Of course.
All right.
These things happen.
That gets you 2 more geniality.
Incredible.
Yeah. All right. We will move to Onin. Onin, what do you want to do for the round?
I think I'm drawing a card.
All right.
Do I just click draw or do I drag it out?
Drag it out. This is no secret, but it's the best part. Yeah. Okay. Oh, great. Let's see. It doesn't have to be a specific lady, right? No. So we'll make it a random lady. Ladies Celiara of the current setting, so of Silchester. So she will so she's picked to lead the dance sort of at random by Lady Jenna, who's trying to play her role now as like the Duke's daughter-in-law. She chooses Lady Celiara, and then Lady Celiara chooses you to dance. It's one of those things where like you're probably close to her. What's your app score, Onin?
My app is 14.
Yeah, so it's like, you're not difficult on the eye. So she turns to you and she's like, "Oh, yeah, this one seems like a good choice," and she chooses you. Let's see how you dance.
Brief look of horror as he looks back and then looks back to the.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
Okay,
The good
so
news is you'll notice a failure isn't on here. That's because most people suck at dancing.
okay.
Yeah.
Most people do not, in fact, have the move.
Yeah.
Come on.
You-
Hey!
Oh wow.
All right, so you
Actually succeeded.
You succeed at it. The dancing goes well, so you can tick dancing. And I think because, especially with you being a mercenary knight, you don't always have an into things like marriages and stuff. Is there a geniality there? Yes, so you get 2 geniality for that. You might want to write the name Lady Celiara down on your sheet. Just as someone, you had a positive interaction with, so you could always try and pursue that in romance.
5 years later. There was that one girl who danced with me 5 years ago.
It's more likely than anything.
What was her name again? Yeah.
I mean, not to sidetrack too much, but there was an interaction where I was just like, "Hi, tracks for me," and then 5 years later, he was like, "Hey, what up?" I was like,
Hey,
no.
I had a long-term villain from one of my games out of a card, so there you go.
Oh, okay, so Lady Celiara. Dance goes good.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so that brings us to Waylon below the salt.
I'm gonna do another card.
Oh, time.
Hell yeah.
What topic is dear to your heart? And that will determine which person it is based on that.
Well, as someone who comes from a literate family, I think he's a fan of telling stories and stuff of that manner. So, knowledge.
We'll say it's Ulfius then. Might as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Ulfius does walk with a cane. Here, by the way. He looks fairly limber other than the cane, you know. It's not like he doesn't take like 3 hours to get from one side. He's not the old man on Simpsons or whatever, so.
Right. Those are hello. Just roll the thing then?
Yes, yeah.
Alright. Doot. Suppose I would just read Latin.
So we're gonna talk about reading?
In maybe folklore.
Folklore story.
Folklore.
So folklore would be knowing the stories, orate would be telling the stories. So you can choose which route you want to go. Yeah.
I will go orate then.
Okay. That was battle.
Oh gosh, darn it.
That's okay.
Sorry about that. Nope, damn it, I'm on it. Sorry, I am clicking small spaces.
Okay, failure. Maybe you tell a story that is a little pagan in nature, more than you want it to be, and might represent a Welsh hero, a Gales hero, and not someone that his ancestors were keen with. So he's just like, right, yeah, no. He actually was responsible for a great many crimes against the people of Logris, but
really, that's not the stories I remember.
Regardless of,
even there.
Yeah, you break even there. So you're like, damn it.
Shit.
Yeah, because +1, -1, and 0 for below the salt. So that brings us to Vadin for the final action of this feast.
I guess Vadin's gonna go find. He's kind of hunting for a wife, so I guess he's gonna look for somebody potential to chat up.
Okay. You can approach this many ways. Probably the easiest way is so you could go the gossip way and just kind of try and find someone for future interactions, because there's a lot of feasting going on for nights. So you could always figure out who you want to interact with going forward. Or you could just simply go out and flirt, which would be a flirt roll.
We'll do an intrigue to see who's interesting. Failed.
Okay. You end up you know what we'll draw this up to? You being on the floor. So it's like you know, yeah, everyone they're pointing out to you here, you're like, no, nope, no, and no. And then everyone else that you'd want to go interact with, they're above the salt, and the people don't seem to know who they are really here. And the ones that were calling out are it's like Lady Jen is beautiful. They're like, isn't she married? And they're like, oh yeah, right? It's that kind of scenario. So it just doesn't go super well for Vadin. Nonetheless, obviously, we'll still say that there are, in between games, I can throw you a couple of names of maidens that are in the Silchester region. The maidens near you. So
in your area.
Yeah. All right. I hope you all had fun. So converting the glory for the people that got 4, that's 40 glory. The person with 1 geniality, that's 10 glory. And Vadin, despite your heroic efforts, being on the floor got in your way this time, so 0 geniality for you because of the -1 each round. Thanks, guys. I hope you had fun. We'll have a lot more time, almost like 2.5 hours next time. So,
cool.
Hope you had a good time, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. If
Yeah.
you're interested, we do drop in Pendragon as well. At Open Pendragon. You can join my Discord if you want to. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.